Our investigators were called to Kershaw Health Hospital. Physicians, when they suspect child abuse, are required by law to call us. So investigators went out there, and were told that a little 4-year-old girl had been brought in with pretty much bruises all over her body. She was malnourished. She had 2 broken arms, dislocated elbow, broken leg. And from what they had looked at through x-rays and so forth, they determined that what had been told to them by the caregivers, the mother and the boyfriend, was not consistent with what they saw. These injuries did not just happen. They had been that way for some time. My investigators questioned both the mother and the boyfriend, and there was some resistance at first, but they were starting to become a little bit more forthcoming with their statements, but pretty much admitted that they had physically abused that little girl over a period of time. There were some inconsistencies in the statements that they gave, but we have continued to talk with them. The mother is a little more forthcoming. The boyfriend, he is pretty much, you know, he's not saying a whole lot. So as a result, we got an emergency protective custody order, had this child taken by DSS. She had to go to a hospital because her injuries were so bad. Since she has been admitted into a neonatal intensive care unit, they've determined that she has, in addition to the 2 broken arms, dislocated elbow, and broken leg, she has a lacerated liver. Her kidneys are not functioning properly. She has hair loss due to malnutrition and from it being yanked out. She is not in very good shape. We have initially charged the 2 adults in her life with child neglect, but we have added charges today, which will be added today, for assault and battery of a high and aggravated nature, and for allowing a child to be physically abused. Those charges will be brought this afternoon, and we expect a bond hearing to be held tomorrow. Other charges will enhance the penalties, and then of course it'll be up to a judge to either give them a consecutive or concurrent sentences if they're found guilty. So this poor little girl suffered for a long period of time and wasn't given medical treatment, and I guess had to, every day of her life for the last couple of months, it was like, what are they going to do to me next? And she was obviously in great pain with these injuries. Anybody would be. Her mental state is not well, as you can imagine. When they brought her in because her condition was so bad, I guess they felt like they had to do something. They also knew that it would raise questions, and so they told the little girl what to say if she was questioned about how she sustained these injuries. They have admitted to that. I'm not sure how much questioning has been done with the little girl. They really don't want to traumatize her anymore. They want to stabilize her before they do some of these other tests, and they conduct a forensic interview on her. Oh, this enrages all of us. I mean, my investigators both have small children. Many of us have small children. And we have to take we have to try to take an unemotional look at this whole investigation. I didn't need to do this, but I did tell my guys, I said, you know, you got to approach this methodically. We don't manufacture evidence, we just gather evidence. So I reminded them, and I don't think they needed to be, but I wanted to make sure that they go about this not orchestrating a case against somebody. The evidence is pretty overwhelming, but I just wanted to make sure that we go about this the way we're supposed to go about it, because it will affect prosecution later, and we want to make sure this is prosecuted properly. I had to get some additional medical information from the hospital that was treating her, and we were told that her liver laceration could only have happened through blunt force trauma. So she was struck pretty hard in order to lacerate her liver, and it was a serious laceration. It was, I think they have class 1, 2, 3, and 4, and she was a class 3 out of 4. It was a serious blow to her to cause her liver to be lacerated, and she is bleeding internally, so she's got some serious health issues. I have seen, this is pretty horrible. This is, I mean, this little girl is, I mean, she could die from this. You know, we have pretty good medical care, but I mean, the malnutrition, the injuries, I mean, 3 appendages broken, bruising all over her body. She's not in very good shape, and the hospital needs to stabilize her. And you know, she's getting very good care. She does have a DSS caseworker with her all the time. I mean, obviously, she doesn't need to be left in a big old room in a hospital by herself with nobody there. And from what I've heard, the DSS caseworkers are really, really upset about this situation. There should be no tolerance at all for any kind of child abuse. And people raise their kids in different ways, in different living conditions. We have been involved in cases where children have been taken out of homes that were just nasty, filthy. And some people have different standards of living. But when it comes to physical abuse, obvious physical abuse, DSS needs to be involved in it. We need to be involved in it. Unfortunately, this happens so frequently, some children do fall through the cracks. I have already asked my staff, let's reevaluate what we do in response to calls of potential child abuse, how we respond. Lawfully, we can't just go kick in somebody's door if we get a call on it. But we're always looking for better ways to improve or ways to better serve the public and to make sure these children don't fall through the cracks. It's not a perfect system, but we will try to make it better, at least from our standpoint. And we do work pretty closely with DSS now, and try to get these kids away from a violent atmosphere. She was probably pretty much confined to that home. And I don't know if there were other family members that would come in and have an opportunity to observe her, but we got no calls on it. A neighbor did call reporting what she thought was a child being beaten, and she didn't want to get involved, and on the telephone, she said that she would contact DSS. That's the last we heard of her until this happened. But certainly, if a neighbor has a suspicion that a child is being abused, you know, that's the time to get involved. And contact us, contact DSS, so that we can do something within the parameters that we have to work within, and as well as DSS. Again, some people think we can just go kick in a door and go look at a child. We can't do that. And we do have situations where a person might want to harass a neighbor, so they call us and say they're beating up their kids or whatever it is. So I mean, every time we go out, we don't know what we're walking into. That's why we can't just go kick in somebody's door or start saying, I'm going to see your kids. We have to have something to go on other than just kind of an anonymous phone call.